Did you know that some of the most secretive actions in global politics have occurred not on battlefields, but in boardrooms? What if the real wars weren't fought openly, but hidden in plain sight? Today, we'll explore the invisible battles orchestrated by the CIA, battles that shaped nations and futures alike. From the hidden corridors of power in Washington to remote jungles and foreign cities, the impact of these covert operations resonates across decades and continents. The CIA's journey began in Langley, Virginia, a place that would become synonymous with covert intelligence. Starting with a mere 35 staff members, it has exploded into a colossal organization boasting over 100,000 employees. This growth reflects not just in the number of people working there, but in the vast and secretive nature of its operations. From a modest budget of a few $1,000s to billions, financial details so secretive they remain classified to this day. This organization's influence is both immense and largely hidden from public scrutiny. So, why was this powerful entity created in the first place? After the calamitous events of World War II, marked by intelligence failures such as the infamous attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States saw an urgent need to bolster its intelligence capabilities. The dissolution of the Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, in 1945 left a void that the National Security Act of 1947 aimed to fill. The birth of the CIA was not just a reaction to past mistakes, but a strategic step towards a more secure future. Initially, the CIA's main focus was on the Soviet Union, a colossal rival in the unfolding drama of the Cold War. An enormous share, around 55 to 60% of the CIA's resources, was dedicated to understanding and countering Soviet actions. The agency's role was not just limited to gathering intelligence, but to actively engaging in espionage, attempting to outmaneuver Soviet spies and allies. Yet, as the Cold War loomed large, this focus began to shift, reflecting a broader and more complex set of objectives. Yet, the CIA's activities soon stretched beyond mere surveillance. Their covert operations became notorious as they began to actively alter political landscapes around the world. During the 1950s, two significant covert actions, Operation Ajax in Iran and the coup in Guatemala, served as stark manifestations of this approach. The primary objective? Shifting power structures to align with U.S. interests. But was this just about combating communism, or did economic factors, such as American corporate interests, play a significant role as well? Among the more disturbing covert projects was MKUltra, a program aimed at exploring mind control techniques. Initiated in the early 1950s, it involved secretive experiments with drugs like LSD on unsuspecting individuals. These endeavors raise critical ethical questions. What drove a government to see these inhumane experiments as necessary? And what of the human cost, the lives and minds disrupted by such actions? The narratives surrounding the CIA are riddled with contradictions. Some say it acts as a global police force, maintaining American ideologies and dominance worldwide. Others argue it's primarily an arm of American corporate interests, manipulating foreign governments for economic gain. But can the truth really be so easily categorized? How does one reconcile these divergent views and understand the complex reality of such a secretive agency? One of the more infamous CIA setbacks was the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961. The operation aimed to topple Fidel Castro's regime in Cuba utilizing Cuban exiles. However, the plan failed spectacularly, embarrassing the U.S. on a global stage. Misjudgments by those at the helm, unforeseen resistance, and flawed assumptions all contributed to this disaster. It's a potent example of the complexities and potential pitfalls inherent in covert operations. Domestically, the CIA was designed to focus primarily on foreign intelligence, avoiding interference in U.S. citizens' affairs. However, questions linger about whether its efforts have always adhered to this guideline. In an era of mounting conspiracies and deep-seated distrust in institutions, where exactly does the truth about the CIA's domestic operations and surveillance lie? As the Cold War intensified, the CIA's rank and file became increasingly entangled in global conflicts. Some guerrilla organizations rose from the upheavals the agency helped orchestrate, particularly in volatile regions like Southeast Asia. These developments remind us of the complex and often unintended consequences of meddling in foreign affairs, a constant theme in the history of intelligence operations. The events of September 11, 2001, marked a decisive turning point not only for American policy, but also for the CIA itself. In the aftermath, counterterrorism became the agency's predominant focus. Intensive changes followed, aiming to thwart future attacks through national and international cooperation. As the nature of global threats evolved, the CIA's methods adapted, introducing new coordination and technologies. The Iran-Contra scandal of the 1980s exposed the lengths to which the CIA would go in pursuing its objectives, often circumventing legal and ethical boundaries. Uncovered in 1986, this operation revealed how proceeds from illegal arms sales to Iran were funneled to Contra fighters in Nicaragua, directly flouting congressional mandates. It became a testament to the agency's willingness to operate beyond oversight. The tools at the CIA's disposal have changed dramatically since its inception. Modern technology allows for sophisticated espionage, often operating in realms where traditional methods cannot reach. Yet, this advancement raises ethical concerns about privacy and surveillance. Are these new tools a natural evolution, or do they represent a troubling path that burdens the modern world with new forms of ethical challenges? CIA activities have often resulted in significant blowback. The overthrows in Iran, the empowerment of guerrilla fighters, and intricate insurgencies created ripple effects that ultimately enhanced future conflicts. These actions, while often justified at the time as necessary evils, spiraled into issues like the rise of al-Qaeda. Ultimately, they're reminders of the complex outcomes that accompany covert decision-making. The psychological effects of MKUltra continue to echo through the lives of its victims. Survivors report lingering trauma and the generational impact on their families. Despite being a chapter of past intelligence tactics, its implications remain vivid. How do these individuals navigate lives marked by secretive experiments conducted in the name of national security? Their stories are haunting testimonials to the potential cost of human experimentation. The historical tapestry woven by CIA operations reveals a complex, interconnected world, full of political maneuvering and power struggles, often clouded by moral ambiguity. These covert actions, rooted deeply in past decades, continue to affect today's geopolitics, shaping alliances, conflicts, and international perspectives on the U.S. global role. Despite the cloak-and-dagger allure, CIA operations carry far-reaching consequences. As we peer into these shadows, remember that the unseen can be as potent as open warfare. The unseen political maneuvers of yesterday shaped the world we witness today. Reflect on the complexities and understand the profound implications these covert operations inject into the fabric of global society. Joining the dialogue, analysts and historians offer perspectives on the agency's dual nature. Is the CIA an inevitable necessity, or do its methods of operation run counter to its democratic foundations? The concept of blowback highlights the unintended consequences of CIA operations. The 1953 Iranian coup is a case in point, leading to eventual unrest and the Islamic Revolution. Meanwhile, support for the Afghan Mujahideen in the 1980s laid the groundwork for future terror networks, exemplifying the perilous long-term impacts of covert actions. Case studies reveal how these operations, while intended to bolster U.S. interests, often led to destabilization and anti-American sentiments, raising questions about the true cost of covert warfare. The Iran-Contra affair was a scandal that rocked the Reagan administration, exposing the CIA's engagement in illegal arms sales to Iran and the funneling of proceeds to support Contra rebels in Nicaragua. This violation of congressional prohibition revealed the depths of the CIA's covert dealings and its willingness to sidestep democratic oversight for its agendas. The revelations sparked a media frenzy and congressional investigations, highlighting the tensions between government branches and the autonomy of intelligence agencies. Who holds the ultimate power in a democracy? The catastrophic events of 9/11 were a turning point for the CIA, shifting its focus towards counterterrorism. This period marked a redefinition of intelligence priorities, with the agency intensifying its efforts and international cooperation to prevent further terrorist threats on American soil. In this new landscape, the CIA expanded its capabilities, utilizing technology and intelligence sharing to face the modern specter of terrorism. The change brought new ethical challenges as surveillance methods and privacy concerns took center stage. Throughout its history, the CIA has often operated with minimal oversight, a condition that enabled it to pursue its missions largely unchecked. This freedom sometimes left even sitting presidents in the dark regarding the agency's covert activities, highlighting concerns of accountability within American governance. Reports of operations proceeding without presidential consent fueled the debate on intelligence agency freedom. The balance of executive power and agency autonomy became a recurring theme of American political discourse. Some interpretations of the CIA's history suggest that, beyond security, the agency also served prominent American corporate interests. Its operations, couched in the language of national security, often seem to align with the economic ambitions of powerful U.S. companies, prompting questions about the true motives behind its actions. Critics argue these ties raise essential questions about national priorities. When economic interests align with agency actions, does national security serve a greater good, or does it protect the select few? The ethical implications of historic CIA operations reverberate in today's geopolitical environment. These hidden actions sculpted complex global relations and continue to inform international politics, demonstrating how the shadows of the past cast long over contemporary affairs. With discussions focusing on historical impact, one can't help but reflect on ongoing tensions and strategic alliances that trace back to CIA actions. How might the agency's past actions still be influencing current global dynamics? The effects of operations like MKUltra linger, not just in the annals of history, but in the lasting psychological trauma on survivors and their families. This poignantly raises questions about the depth to which intelligence agencies should ethically be allowed to operate, challenging our conceptions of security and humanity. By exploring personal stories, affected families provide a voice to the silent costs of intelligence operations. These testimonies challenge the narrative of covert success, highlighting a critical need for reform and transparency. Looking to the future, modern intelligence challenges differ sharply from historical espionage methods. Technological advancements call for new ethical guidelines that question the effectiveness and morality of intelligence strategies, balancing security with individual rights. Emerging technologies present both opportunities and challenges. While they offer enhanced security capabilities, they also present a dilemma about the extent of surveillance. Should limits be imposed to protect privacy, and at what cost to national security? And so, as we emerge from the shadows cast by the CIA's covert legacy, we ponder, how are these historical operations shaping our present and future? Maybe some answers, still locked in classified files, will one day see the light, reshaping what we thought we understood.